Sir, is there any such standard diagnostic criteria or any nowadays there are so many tests, lab tests, everything. Is there anything recent developments regarding the ASD?
No, any investigative procedures are not there to diagnose autism precisely, but there are many other tools for the diagnosis of autism. For different age groups, different tools are used. Most of them are observational tools and questionnaires. But I think above all these things, I think a person who is experienced in dealing with these sort of issues, who has sufficient experience, previous experience in dealing with these sort of children, I think
Can easily
he can easily identify, or she can easily identify and diagnose, at least make sure that so these days I think see the teachers, especially the KG class teachers are more aware, which is actually a blessing in disguise, because they identify this is very fast. That child is not mingling with others, he prefers to play alone, or he is aloof all the time, or he is not responding to my name call. So they observe this very fast. So I think once that sort of a reporting is there, then I think a proper assessment using various tools, like most of them are questionnaire based tools. And then there is one Indian scale in this regard, Indian scale for the assessment of autism. Which has got again different domains with multiple questions in each domain, and scoring it accordingly based on the gravity and the total score, which is suggestive of either no autism or different grades of autism like mild, moderate and severe. But I think this is not the only or the exclusive method of diagnosing. I think parental interview is very important. So taking the history part very specifically and precisely, then this of course this questionnaire about the present status of the child, where this behavioral pattern is properly identified, and above that the clinician's observations. So that is one important point. You may not be able to diagnose a child online, that is one issue. You need to observe the child maybe for 1 hour, 45 minutes, 2 hours, based on the merit of the case. So I think when you put these three things together, like the historical aspect, which is collected from the parent interview or the caretaker interview, then the description of the problem, current problem based on the questionnaires, and the third one is the clinician's observations. When these three things are coming together, I think a proper diagnosis of the child, whether he is in the spectrum or not, can be made with somewhat great precision.
Sir, as you previously said, while dealing with the causative factors of ASD, you said the Ayurveda is having its own view about the diseases, about the life as it is. So, what is the understanding of Ayurveda on autism, and how can we explain the scenario of autism in the language of Ayurveda?
See, regarding the Ayurvedic understanding of autism, one point which I should stress is that the understanding of Ayurveda about any disease is quite different from the understanding of any disease in any other system of medicine or intervention. See, as a person who is dealing with these kids for many years, I have faced the question that multiple times. The question is whether autism is explained in Ayurveda or not. So actually that is a very interesting question, which we are supposed to answer, because it is our fault that that this idea of diagnosing a case or addressing a case, a disease according to Ayurveda is not properly communicated to the society. So, it is our fault. So, I think I would like to put something about that particular aspect first.
Sure.
See, Ayurveda is not something like a religious treatise where everything is already explained. Now there is only one option, my way or highway. It is not like that. It is actually a theoretical medicine. Ayurveda is a theoretical medicine, and that theoretical platform of Ayurveda gives the liberty to the practitioner, to the clinician, to the Vaidya to understand any sort of development, pathological development or disease development in the human body. So, it is not just about finding this question exactly explained in a samhita, in a treatise, in a textbook and prescribing accordingly. Any new disease or any old disease, whatever it is addressed by the Vaidya based on his theoretical understanding, her theoretical understanding about that particular situation. So, it is not just about matching what is present and what is matching what is in the textbook. It is not like that. So, it is a theoretical medicine and it is a learning medicine.
Yes, yes.
It learns continuously and evolves.
Smart.
Yeah, that way I think it is a smart medicine. It is learning continuously according to the condition. It is doing that learning process. Of course, Vaidyas are doing that as the tools of the application of the theory. Now, coming to autism, you can't expect autism explained as such in the textbooks. There is no meaning in it. But at the same time, how the behavioral pattern of a child can get distorted according to the influence of various factors can be seen very beautifully illustrated. But they may not be coming under one single unique clinical entity. It is scattered all around in the under various headings. And when you look at these explanations from a specific perspective, you will be able to understand what is happening in an autistic child. And same, in one autistic child you are explaining it this way, and in the another case you may not be able to explain it in the same way. But at the same time, there will be some fundamental commonalities which is going to make this whole problem having one common thread between them. So, that way I think what I have tried to understand, what is the common thread between all varieties, all types of cases of autism spectrum disorder. It is basically about the interaction between three principles in Ayurveda. The interaction between three principles. Number one is Agni, which is one of the core ideas in Ayurveda. Second is Ojas, which is again a technically explained aspect in Ayurveda. And the third one is Manas, or what we call as mind in our common communications, which is otherwise can be considered as the cognitive sum of an individual in various aspects. So, Ayurvedic approach is trying to understand how this framework or interaction between these three principles are getting affected.
Can you elaborate on that each words?
Yeah, I can, definitely I can. See, Agni is that factor which resides, maybe I think a principle, I would say a principle, a functional principle, which is there within every human being, even every living human being or every living being, which is working for multiple targets or functions, of which the primary one is to convert food to body.
The transforming principle.
Yes, the transformative principle, which can convert or transform food to body. So, the human body is, or the quality of human body is defined by how efficiently the Agni is working. So, the efficacy or the quality of Agni is going to be so crucial in understanding the status of human body and human mind. So, there are many strategies evolved over time by the effort of various Vaidyas, various schools of thought in Ayurveda, to assess and understand the status of Agni. So, you can use whichever you are comfortable with, whichever you are accustomed with, but it should be happening properly. Understand the Agni. And this Agni is supposed to, or conceptualized to, reside in the gut, Udaram. And this Udaram is going to be a very crucial place in the Sharira, in the entire body, in the human existence, because it is the niche of Agni. And it is the capacity of the Agni, it is the proficiency of the Agni, which is going to define the environment of the gut. This gut as a whole is explained in Ayurveda as Udaram. And there is a very famous or very age-old saying that Udaram Vyadhi Mandiram.
Yes, I have heard that.
Udaram Vyadhi Mandiram. So this is universal. This is not confined to the domain of autism. In general,
yes.
Udaram is Vyadhi Mandiram. Vyadhi Mandiram means the Mandiram of Vyadhi. Mandiram means again the residence or the temple or the sanctum sanctor, or whatever way you would like to explain, you can do it. So, Udaram is the Mandiram of Vyadhi. Vyadhi means a disease or disorder or whatever, illness. Why Udaram is Vyadhi Mandiram? Because it is the residence of Agni. So, if the Agni goes wrong, finished, you are going to be sick, you are going to be ill. At the same time, Udaram is Swasthya Mandiram as well.
Yes. When it is
Functioning normally, Udaram is going to be the Swasthya Mandiram as well.
makes sense.
So, understanding the status of Udaram and thus understanding the status of Agni is going to be one of the most important assessment as far as an autistic child is concerned. That is about Agni. Then, apart from Agni, there are many things in the body, there are many areas in the body, many functions in the body which are complementary to the function of Agni. Agni has got a function, it is transforming the food to the body. But to the body is a non-specific usage. Body has got many specific areas, specified functions. So the transformation also should be specific, multifaceted. And all those things together forms the complete environment of the body. And when everything is happening properly, the particular environment which is prevailing within is qualitatively referred to as ojas. Qualitative.
Yes, yes.
There are many tools in Ayurveda to understand the status of ojas.
Yes.
When this ojas is fine, okay, the strength is good. When the ojas is fine, okay, your immunity is excellent. When the ojas is fine, your cognitive functions are getting the opportunity to manifest in the most brilliant manner. So, the status of ojas should be understood. They are very closely connected. Agni decides the status of ojas. Ojas supports the function of Agni.
It's an indicator of internal wellness.
Internal wellness, internal environment or internal happenings. And then the third is manas, is the mind. How do you solve a problem? How do you make decisions? How do you register your experiences? How do you recollect your memory? How do you perceive happiness? How do you reciprocate to your sensory inputs? So, all these things are closely connected with how does the mind function, manas. And this status of mind is closely connected with the other two. How efficient or proficient the Agni is and how beautifully the ojas is manifested. Similarly, status of Agni is going to be reflecting in the status of manas. Manas is also going to reflect in the status of Agni. Ojas is going to reflect in the manas. Manas is going to reflect in the ojas.
Somewhat like body-mind connection, like that. This mind is a soma, this psychological part, and ojas represents the bodily functions and its wellness.
Yes.
So, and there is a one factor is Agni, is the
prime control.
Yes,
it is the master control.
Yes.
And so these three terminals, this is going to be the crucial points of assessment in an autistic child. Of course, this can be extended to many other developmental problems, behavior problems, which we are not going to discuss. Coming specifically to autism spectrum disorder, these 3 points: how is the Agni, how is the ojas, how is the manas, and using the specific tools which are there in the Ayurvedic wisdom, I think that sort of an assessment is done, and also how they are interconnected in a given child or a given case, and which is the primary one, which is the secondary one. After identifying the problem areas, which is the primary one, which is the secondary one. This decides where the intervention should start with. Then accordingly you should be making a plan. And of course there are, see, as far as Agni is concerned, the child is supposed to go through a very specific dietary pattern. As far as ojas is concerned, the child is supposed to go through specific patterns of medications. Regarding the mind, I think the child is supposed to get specific sets of trainings and exposures. So when all these things are happening together, I think it clicks, it works.
So having said that, is it like when there is a problem with Agni, it affects ojas, then it affects manas? Is it like that a chronological, or it can be affected at any point of development, or all of them are affected?
See, this can happen at any point of time in your life. Need not start, you need not inherit this problem.
Yes.
But in autistic kids, when the manifestation is too early, I think there may be a predisposing factor in one of these 3 or 2 of these 3, and then in between the third factor may get an extra push from an environmental factor, or two may be getting a push from the environmental factor, which we were discussing earlier, the later exposures. It can happen at any point of time. You need not come with all these problems right away from the time of birth.
While manifesting, all these three will be affected because
but there may be differences in gravity.
Okay.
All the three need not be involved with the same severity or
in
severe
every
gravity.
cases.
Yeah. So that is important. So that is one aspect of, or one interest of proper assessment.
Sir, having these three factors or three principles in the background, can you explain the role of different factors in the day-to-day life, which is affecting either Agni or Manas or Ojas? Can you explain briefly for the sake of the audience, so they can easily understand how it works in the common life?
See, as far as Agni is concerned, there are some predisposing factors. I have inherited to a good extent my Agni from my parents. Because ultimately everything is a contribution from my parents. So how my system should kickstart working is always decided by the maternal and paternal contributions coming together, and the intrauterine growth period, and how these things are getting properly synced during the intrauterine period, and how it is going to be manifested later. So that is one important factor. Then after birth, I think multiple things can influence. Say for example, early exposure to heavy antibiotics, which is not so uncommon.
In the childhood.
It can happen at any point of time. Maybe, of course, for justifiable reasons. But unfortunately, that can distort the entire udaram. The residence of Agni will be spoiled.
It's not only the food or diet.
We are coming to that. We are coming to that. Then I think the Agni also will be in trouble. With a improper udaram. I think you can't expect your Agni to function properly. Then the foodstuffs. See, when I am starting my life, then there are many things, including the food I am supposed to eat, which are gathered over maybe hundreds of years, which is influenced by the geographical peculiarities, the climatic situations, my cultural background, many things can be there. So when I think such a thing is there in the backdrop, and there is a quick unprecedented violation to that sort of thing, I think it is going to disturb your udaram and your Agni. Similarly, so that is stuff. Then the type of cooking is so crucial of food. So I think the way in which the body is familiar with, accustomed with, and then comes a drastic change in it all of a sudden.
You are talking about a single individual or the complete?
It can happen in individuals, and it can happen in populations. Then there is a drastic change in the udaram, damaging the status of Agni. Then so the type of food, the way in which it is, the stuff of food, the way in which it is prepared, the way of cooking, and the way of consuming it. See, body has got, we are living maybe a extra modern, very ultra modern, AI directed lives. But the interesting thing is that as a biological entity, this body has got a very, very, very primitive hardware. So the basic running platform is so primitive. It still follows the sun. which is not changed with all these inventions and all those things. So, when there is sun, with the sunrise, the body is starting becoming functional. The digestive system is alert, its capacity, the udaram is alert, the agni is alert, and through the day, then at the end, when the sun sets, slowly it goes back
to the dormant.
The capacity, it is going to some sort of a slow down mode. So, the capacity to process food goes down, the pace with which the digestion is happening slows down, because practically it is not the time to process fresh food, but it is the time to make use of the food which you have already consumed. It is a different stage, different platform. But forgetting this, I am living in an urban life, my dinner time is 12, midnight or 1 o'clock or 11 o'clock. So, I am living a very modern life, but still you are damaging your hardware. This is another important cause for distorting the udaram of the parents, and if with this distorted udaram, I think these parents are giving birth to a child, the child is inheriting
the distorted
udaram and distorted agni. So, the way in which the ahara, the food is consumed, is also going to be crucial as far as the status of agni is concerned. So, there are many things like this: toxic materials, the presence of pesticides, the presence of heavy metals in the environment and the food we eat, then colors, additives, taste makers, different types of salts, many things which has become so common. The encounter is not rare, so common that we do not even understand that such an encounter is happening. So, that is the saddest part of it. So, agni is continuously challenged in the modern life, and so we can't expect something better. That is the status.
Sir, if it is said, the people will be thinking, I am following such a lifestyle, and many of the people who I know are following such lifestyle, but everybody is not going through such problems, or maybe one case is autism or many other cases. So, what is the thing that obstructs the development of such problems in the body? Is there anything like that? That means everybody exposed to the violation of this agni doesn't get a problem. So, can we generally tell that the such factors is going to make a disease in your body?
Answering the question in a general platform, I should say that everybody is going to get affected. That is the first hand answer for that question. Everybody is going to get affected. Only difference is whether it is today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, next month or next year. So, sometimes for various reasons, including the amount of sensitivity of the body, it can have quick response. Sometimes maybe because of some other factors like this genetic advantage or the strength of the body's immediate responses, or due to some other advantage which he or she is getting from the climatic situations, or like that, many other things can be there. The manifestation may be getting delayed. That's all. There is no question of that. Okay, he was living a very unhealthy life and still he enjoyed so much precious health, which is impossible. There is no chance for that.
Okay. Usually this ASD or autism is said to have 80 to 90% chance hereditary. So, the same theory is applicable there too, because the person or the kid is inheriting from the parents. So, such lifestyle in the parents also will be supporting or donating to the problem of the kid, isn't it? That is what you are telling. So, with that sir, my next question is, anyway the kid is having such a problem, or there is a probability to have such problem. What is your advice for such parents? What all care should they take to slow down the evolution of this disease?
See, actually, again, I think we can't go backward. We can't live the lives of our forefathers, which is a reality which we have to accept. But at the same time, we should be more aware. We have more information available. We have more technology available to understand what is really happening. So I think ultimately we should have better decisions. So at least see a couple who is preparing themselves for a married life, see procreation or the pregnancy. See, I think at least certain precautions can be taken. Going back to this sort of, it is not about going back to the olden days of living. It is not going back against the present social norm, but it is about understanding the body in an intelligent manner, understanding the body in the proper manner. It is just listening to your body. So it is not something like running the vehicle in the reverse gear. This is a must. You have to understand your body, you have to listen to your body. So that is why I am saying that, okay, this is a very old hardware which has got very primitive understanding and primitive ways of response to the living environment, which should be listened to. So I think at least prior to this childbirth and everything, I think you should be prepared for that. You have to make sure that the body is clean, the body is healthy, the body is ready to have that childbirth.
Like and a preconceptional health analysis.
Preconceptional. Then after the delivery or through the pregnancy, I think, see, now the relation between the mind and body is becoming more and more clear. But still I think, see, the pregnant women of our country, not our country, everywhere, they are not getting the proper support, emotional support, psychological support, physical support. They are living the child, the pregnancy period is under severe stress. So that can be avoided, or that should be avoided. It is not a personal priority. It is the social priority. It is a political priority. Then after the delivery, I think, see what happened during the COVID lockdown. You just think about it. Mother is an IT professional, father is an IT professional, child is just 6 months. Everybody is stranded in small houses, no movement, no mobility, no visits, nothing. And the work pattern converted to online mode. So from the room number A, the mother is logged in. From the room number B, the father is logged in, and the child, nobody to take care. And what happened? One mobile phone was taking care of the child with various types of YouTube videos on cartoon series and everything. So who was caring? And you can notice that the number of autistic children after the COVID lockdown increased like anything. Increased like anything. This is not an imaginary point what I am saying. I am seeing this. I am living here among these kids. So I can say categorically that has happened. So I think how to modify these things is an immediate priority, and that should be taken care of. There is no other option we have with us.